welcome back to Bimblebit. I'm Damian.
I'm Andy.
And we're just two guys shooting the shit about Bitcoin. And now, your feature presentation. The following program contains awesome, wow, and it's about time. 100,000, baby, we made it again.
100 grand.
Yeah.
100 grand. Mm-hmm. We're back. And we're still there right now. Yeah, we're still there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, let's lock ourselves in on our blockchain height, 896,475, courtesy of our friends at timechaincalendar.com.
Right? Mm-hmm. How about the market?
Wow, it's nice to see things going.
You're right, and things are going, right? I got to cover just a little bit because the Dow today was up 1,160 points. The S&P up, 184. NASDAQ up 780 points. These are unbelievable numbers. You know, you don't see this kind of movement in the traditional market that often. But today, I think Friday last week, we had the U.S.-UK trade deal that was started to be announced. And also today, U.S. and China, they put a 90-day kind of like tariff pause where they both brought down a bunch of tariffs on each other.
Massive numbers.
But they've got 90 days to kind of try and figure things out. So that's why you saw such a huge number today. And they needed to. We lost a lot in the Dow and the S&P over the past, since.
They are saying that it's possible to hit 150,000 once, because they've actually got numbers in place for the China-U.S. trade deal. U.S. is going to bring the tariffs back to 145. That's what they were at, to 30%.
Yes.
And China is going to cut U.S. goods from 125 to 10%.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of tariffs imposed on the U.S. That's why what happened. And now we're actually seeing, remember I talked last week about ruffling feathers?
Yeah.
That's what this was all about. And now we're seeing countries come together to make it fair trade, equal for everybody, a little more even playing field.
Guess it gives people a chance to kind of update their situation, because things are always changing. So whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but nevertheless. But Bitcoin still hanging in. 103 still.
Oh boy.
Right? 103. It's still in there. It's got a 63 billion 24-hour trading, and the market cap's at 2.04 trillion. Guess what place we're in now? 5. We just hit Amazon at 2.03.
That's crazy.
And Nvidia is next at 2.8. So that shouldn't take too long. It should be a number 4 here.
So Bitcoin took Amazon.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they've done it. They got up and down a little bit the last little bit, but they've officially taken them again. So we'll see how that goes. I see that continuing to go pretty well. Yeah. So
and we're going to, because the buying is continuing.
Yes.
The captain of Strategy B, Mr. Michael Saylor, added again.
Speaking of added another 13,390 Bitcoin for 1.34 billion. Now holds 568,884 Bitcoin.
That's a phenomenal number.
It's pretty
That's
big.
a lot of...
just over half of what Satoshi has in the Genesis block, right? So that's a
crazy.
significant amount. Yeah.
Well, because of Michael Saylor and Strategy B, it has been encouraging a lot of other companies' acquisition of Bitcoin. We're starting to see that on their quarter sheets of Metaplanet. Semler Scientific, we talked about last week, they're all adding Bitcoin, which is really cool. And then there's Merrill Holdings. We talked about them in the past, huge mining company, but they didn't do as well in the first quarter as they were hoping to do, but they actually turned out on a positive side because they are looking into cost cutting. And how they are doing that is sustainable energy sources. I mean, the opportunity, there's people that use the methane gas from landfills. We've got volcanoes. We've got water, hydro. It's endless.
Yeah.
Cool. And while we're talking about tariffs, a huge shout out to Jack Mallers.
Absolutely. He has that talk about tariffs, and it was last week. He has this podcast. He does Money Matters podcast, and I believe it was last week, if not the week before. He really talked well about the tariffs and the goods, the bads, the uglies, I guess. But it was a great interpretation of his thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another great bullish sign, I don't know if you guys got to see this lately, but it's only just happened, is our MACD had a bullish crossover. MACD stands for the moving average convergence and divergence factor. It's just one of those things like a Fibonacci level and different things. There's all kinds of different indicators as to what's going to happen, be it lag time or not. And the MACD did just cross up again into the red. So that is a very, very bullish factor.
Was that English? Some remarkable words. No, it was good. Yeah. Let's talk really quick about Skype. There's something going on with Skype. Everyone remembers Skype back in the day. This was a Microsoft thing where you could have your meetings and stuff through Skype. Give me a Skype. We'll Skype you. It's going the way of the Skype dodo.
Everybody Skyped. Everybody Skyped.
Not anymore.
And they even that was the verb. They would say, "Let's not talk." That's Skype. You know, it was kind of one of those things. But no, as of May 5th, it is now done.
Okay.
Done. And you know what? And it was Microsoft that shut it down because they have their own Microsoft Teams now, which is kind of like a next level up sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But you know, when you've got players like WhatsApp and others in there too, technology can grow, and some that don't grow fast enough are going to have to regrow or rebrand or redo something different, and that's exactly what Microsoft did here. Been around for 8 or 9 years or something like that. Yeah.
And speaking of out with the old and in with the new, we're kind of going back to the old with this hot topic right now, op return.
Op return.
Is this something we want to see? I mean, it's always been in the coding for Bitcoin. That's extra space. Right now they want to make it even bigger. Does that allow for spammers to go start using JPEGs in there, filling it with art? Do we want to use that room?
Or just use it for monetary transactions?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people would agree that it took a lot of room in the blockchain. Let's just keep it to a financial thing, a asset thing, a Bitcoin thing. But, I mean, what's your take? Bimblebit.com, let us know.
Let us know. What do you think?
And some really cool news. This is the owner of Bitcoin Magazine. His name is David Bailey, and he's planning to launch a public Bitcoin investment company called Nakamoto. So what he's trying to do is raise $300 million in funding. The move basically mirrors what we're seeing with Strategy B and all the other companies, SoftBank, Strive. So it's an interesting progression with Bitcoin. It's fantastic to watch.
You're going to see so many companies employing that tactic of acquiring Bitcoin through the likes of MicroStrategy or Strategy B and everybody else.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and another great thing too. Coinbase. Did you hear this? They're just about to set to join the S&P 500 next week.
That's really cool.
Right. Right, they've innovated pretty well. I think they've done well for themselves, and they're the number one kind of player in the space, aren't they? Pretty close. Yeah.
So we want to show you a chart. We've thrown this up before, but this is, people talk about the sats in Bitcoin, and you say, hey, Bitcoin, like, I can't afford a Bitcoin. Well, we're starting to talk about sats. Sats are the smallest form of Bitcoin. Within one Bitcoin is 100 million sats. And as you can see in this chart, it basically breaks it down. So the way things are going right now, if you were to use US dollar, 0.93 cents is about 1,000 sats. Right, so and that's going to change as BTC goes up. But I mean, have a look at the chart. It's really interesting. I'm a visual guy, and it really helped me looking at this.
It does.
But there's still some translations involved. You still have to figure out money and what it is. But there are some cool websites out there that will do the conversion for you. So just wanted to share that little tidbit on sats. If you're just a little confused, there it is. We look forward to some super cool events coming up in the very near future. Bitcoin Rodeo happening in Calgary, June 28th and 29th. Discover Bitcoin, exercise freedom. And just following that, of course, is the greatest outdoor show on earth, the Calgary Stampede, coming back to Calgary. This is happening July 4th through the 13th in 2025. And then we zip on down to Vegas, and we're going. Watch for the Bimblebit crew down there at the Venetian. This is happening May 27th through the 29th at the Venetian. Tickets go up in like a couple of days, so if you're planning on going, a good idea to check out their website. Make sure you get tickets before they go a little bit up. If you have an event coming up, make sure you let us know. Bimblebit.com, and we'll be sure to get the news out there for you. Time now for Tales from the Crypto. That was weird. We are going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin and its predictability pattern. We have seen the same pattern happen every 4 years. You could go back from inception to now and watch it, and it does the same thing. Not this time.
Well, it could be different, right?
Oh, it is different.
You know, it could be different. Some people would look at it as a super cycle sort of situation with the world adoption. And,
we're hoping.
And so, you know, if it does follow this 4-year cycle, but, you know, are we going to be on the cusp of a change this time? Is that 4 years, like, it's taking longer to get to where it did in that 4-year cycle in previous cycles, which would lead one to believe that maybe it's going to take a little longer to get there and go a little higher. Maybe it's going to go into Q1, Q2, 2026 before it hits the top. Maybe it's a $700,000 top. Maybe it's 350. I don't know, but there's some pretty wild, some pretty wild predictions out there.
Speculations.
Yeah. So, you know, things are a little bit different because the macro of everything is very different this time. So we'll soon see.
I'm hearing talk of people saying that the 4-year halving is no longer a relative event in the future, and I'll tell you why. They say that 94.5% of the Bitcoin total supply has already been mined, and by 2028, 97% of all Bitcoin will be in circulation.
So maybe that in itself is going to change
Yes.
the dynamics of how this is going to move up and down moving forward with only just 3% of the supply left, or to be mined.
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued is right.
More exciting information coming with Adopt a Node. We're going to have a really good-looking promo coming your way in the next little while, so watch for that. Hey, we appreciate you joining us every week. If you like what you see, make sure you tap on the QR code down on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. In the meantime, I'm Damian.
I'm Andy.
We're just two guys shooting the shit right here on BimbleBit.com.
Cheers, mates.